Government will continue to do whatever it takes to ensure that Nigerians have enough food to eat.
Federal government addresses food shortage, distributes 740 trucks of rice across Federation. Federal government inaugurates National Philanthropic Office to support micro, small and medium businesses.
We hope that through these partnerships, we'll be able to unlock catalytic financing for MSMEs. We'll be able to unlock skills and capacity building.
And National Human Rights Commission pushes for legislation framework to entrench Safe Schools initiative.
Any society that relegates education to the background does so at the risk of its own career.
Hello and thank you for joining us on the Network News on NTA with me, Najat Atutejani. Tonight, Musa Abubakar will be joining us with business news, and Abdullahi Mohammed has facts and figures, data analysis on roads in Nigeria. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. You can also follow us across all social media platforms for updates. And now the news in detail. The federal government is appealing to state governments to ensure effective distribution of the latest set of palliatives of 740 trucks of rice now in their possession. This plea emanates from the meeting of the Federal Executive Council this Monday, when the federal government paid attention to food shortage across the country. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports.
This Monday comes with the news of a marginal increase in inflation rate to 34.2%. The purchasing powers of majority of Nigerians are yet to increase. The hues and cries in town got here at the meeting of the highest decision makers in the land. And certainly a major concern for the government, as the meeting focused on further steps to ameliorate the hardship relating to food shortages and high cost of the available ones. The federal government had earlier ordered the distribution of 20 trucks of bags of rice to each of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory for onward delivery to the most vulnerable Nigerians. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris gives an update on the palliative.
And government is not saying that by this supply it is solving all the food challenges or the food problems that we have around the country. This is a necessary first step, and government will continue in that direction. Government will continue to do whatever it takes to ensure that Nigerians have enough food to eat. Of course, you also know some of the interventions that the federal government has done in the agricultural sector, boosting our own capacity to produce food, not just for our domestic consumption, but also possibly for export. And government will continue to do that.
But then, experiences have shown irregularities in the implementation of such measures in the past.
The federal government also wants to appeal to the subnationals to ensure effective distribution of these food items so that those that are most vulnerable have access to this commodity.
On other steps aimed at cutting down the cost of transportation, the Council directed the Committee on CNG to expedite action to upgrade the existing conversion centers, while also making the conversion kits more accessible. And ahead of possible agreement between the government and labor unions on the expected new minimum wage, the Council is preparing an Amendment Act to the 2024 budget to take care of a potential addition. In somewhat cheery news, the minister announced that the talks between the government of Nigeria and that of the United Arab Emirates has resulted in an agreement on the immediate resumption of travels to the UAE for Nigerian passport holders.
Today, an agreement has been reached on that, And effective from today, 15th of July, Nigerian passport holders are able to obtain visas to go to the United Arab Emirates.
The agreement includes updated controls and conditions to facilitate obtaining a UAE visa. Meanwhile, the council paid last respect to a former member, Ahmed Mohamed Gusau, who served as Minister of State Mines and Steel in the administration of late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua. He passed away on May 25, 2024.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Good news for startups and small businesses in Nigeria. The federal government is giving a guarantee of success and positive impact of the National Philanthropic Office under the Tinubu administration. This is as the initiative meets 4 partners as part of government's efforts at supporting industrial value chain hubs and accelerators for startups and small businesses in Nigeria. The NPO, an initiative driven 100% by the private sector with full support from government, is part of efforts by the present administration to raise alternative funding for small and medium-scale enterprises and other vital economic programs through collaboration with the private sector.
And we had actually said we were going to go out and look for credible partners to help us on this journey. So these are the first set of partners. The next step is to start seeing a skeletal process of implementation. One starts hitting the ground running.
And we hope that through these partnerships, we'll be able to unlock catalytic financing for MSMEs. We'll be able to unlock skills and capacity building. We'll be able to unlock comparative advantages for convenings. And after this, we hope it will encourage more and more people to partner with the government.
NPO coordinator Thelma Ekio-Sholanke says philanthropy and impact investing are 2 important avenues of supporting MSMEs and can encourage innovation and provide catalytic capital to entrepreneurs. The National Philanthropic Office will support the establishment of 12 shared office spaces for startups across the 6 geopolitical zones. The National is making a case for Nigeria to have a legislation in place for safe schools in line with the international initiative for protecting the right to education during conflict. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Attacks on schools, especially during conflict, is a source of concern due to the impact on the future of victims and the overall developments of society. In Nigeria, several attacks on schools have been recorded in the last decade, mostly in conflict-hit areas. Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, says it is crucial for the country to ensure access to safe education, not only as a fundamental human right, but as a basis for national development.
It is within our schools that the leaders, innovators, and citizens of tomorrow are nurtured. Ensuring students access to safe education is crucial. Establishment of this legal framework will ensure accountability and justice for victims and act as a deterrent against future attacks.
Any society that relegates education to the background does so at the risk of its own peril. So because of that, the National Assembly and indeed the Senate will collaborate closely with the Human Rights Commission with a view to giving it legislative teeth, the declaration on safe school.
Nigeria had in 2019 signed the Safe Schools Declaration document to signify commitment to ratify and uphold the principles of Safe Schools Initiative. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says it will soon start receiving public petitions through an information and communication technology process. Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas stated this while opening a digitized hearing room for the Public Accounts Committee. Details of this and other parliamentary engagements with National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikben.
The digitized hearing room of the Public Accounts Committee is said to be in line with the quest for an open parliament without limitations. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas describes it as essential to enhancing oversight of public funds and other legislative functions.
By investing in the state-of-the-art digital infrastructure and continuously updating our technological capabilities, we aim to set a benchmark in legislative excellence and responsiveness to the needs of the Nigerian people.
But these laptops are quite a whole lot of rich resources, including the laws of the Federation, all the establishment acts.
The House engaged security agencies on ways of tackling illegal mining in the country.
Nigeria is richly blessed with solid minerals, which should bring great fortune to the country and the citizens. But the wealth is largely stolen by criminal elements who do not mean well for this country.
A public hearing was conducted on the bill seeking to amend the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply Management of Nigeria Act 2007.
To reiterate the commitment of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Procurement to upholding the legal and institutional framework for the enthronement of transparency, accountability, value for money, and efficiency in the procurement of works, goods and services within MDS.
The committee emphasized compliance with the Public Procurement Act 2007 by all ministries, departments, and agencies of government to avoid pitfalls in efficient utilization of public resources. From the National Assembly, Mitairi Ikben, NTA News.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET predicts that most parts of the country will experience moderate to heavy rainfall within the next 24 hours. In a statement released Monday evening, NIMET indicates that the rainfall will be accompanied by strong winds in some areas. States expected to be significantly affected are Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, Yobe, Borno, Sokoto, and Katsina. Others are Bauchi, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Plateau, Niger, Benue states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Continuous rainfall is anticipated in the coastal states of Lagos, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross Rivers, while moderate rainfall is expected in Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Edo, Delta, and Anambra states. Flash floods are likely to result from these weather patterns. Consequently, Nigerians are advised to avoid driving or wading through flood waters with strong undercurrents. The public is also encouraged to take precautions to reduce the impact of heavy rainfall and potential flooding, especially in vulnerable areas. President Bola Tinubu has approved the reinstatement of Professor Nene Barini Zabi as project coordinator of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP. The president reached the decision following a performance review of the HYPREP project coordinator, concluding that the project coordinator is fit to discharge his functions in accordance with regulations guiding the execution of the project. A statement by Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelali, indicates that by this directive of the President, the reinstatement of the HYPREP project coordinator takes immediate effect. This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more updates after this timeout. Thanks for staying tuned. A commendation for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from His Royal Highness the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, for engaging youths in governance. The Oni of Ife gave the commendation at the Royal African Young Leadership Forum held at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Rotimi Akamo reports.
For the development of African continent, Hundreds of young African intelligent youths converged on Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife for the Royal African Young Leadership Forum. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, who used the occasion to identify many talented youths across Africa by giving them award, urged the gathering to commend President Bola Tinubu for allowing youths to participate in his government.
And I want to use this opportunity to thank so profusely the President of our dear nation, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for finding it a very, very wonderful feat for youth inclusion in his government.
The President has also approved that we should implement and institutionalize 30% inclusion of young people in government. So tomorrow is very bright.
And how you can put out the leadership in you is to encourage others, is to make sure that you work with the government so that you can provide the enable environment for people to thrive.
Awardees were drawn from 39 countries of African continent. From the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife, Rotimi Akamo, NTA News.
And still on youth in governance, Nigerian youths can bring fresh perspectives and innovative ideas to the energy and other sectors in the country, which is why the federal government is set to give them more leadership opportunities in this regard. Special Assistant to the President on Delivery and Monitoring Youth Initiative, Titilope Badamosi, made this known during the Renewed Hope Youth Engagement Forum in Katsina. Suleiman Kuduki reports that key stakeholders and other youth groups took part in the forum.
The engagement is a nationwide initiative that provides opportunity to rub minds with APC youths on the successes so far recorded and the way forward. It is equally aimed at giving the Nigerian youths a sense of belonging by promoting youth inclusion in governance.
The government understands your pains. The government knows where the shoe pinches you, and that is why we are here. But we are almost there. And that is why it is a process of healing that we are on. And by God's grace, inshallah, we will smile at the end of the day.
The main stakeholders in this government, that's why we have ministers, lots of appointees that are under 40. And then also this to interact with the youth support groups to find out how far the government has gone, of their expectations. Are we in line? What are the things that we are doing that is not right, and then how can we also improve what we're doing?
Other speakers commend the initiative, describing it as the best way to change the fortunes of youths in the country.
They should see how they can channel our communication, our issues that we raise here to the appropriate channel.
It has been established that this is a youth-friendly government. It has changed so many wrongs.
The Renewed Up Youth Engagement is expected to hold across the country. In Katsina, Suleiman Kudogi, NTA News.
Next, we will be analyzing facts and figures regarding transportation across the country. Tonight, the focus is on Nigerian roads. Let's join Abdullahi Mohammed to give a quick rundown of the statistics. Abdullahi.
Najah, thank you very much for joining me at this corner. I would like to start by letting you know that in 2023, there have been, as at that time, about 12 million vehicles running on Nigerian roads. And to keep these wheels rolling on, the federal government has over the years maintained and expanded about 36,000 kilometers of road across the country. That is, as at 2018. And these, among these 36,000 kilometers of road, it is categorized into three. It is the secondary routes, which is about 18,000 kilometers. And then again, there is the trunk. The trunk routes about 17 kilometers. This trunk routes, it's the major highways like the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja-Kano Expressway, and so on and so forth. And moving on to the next page here, you see the branch route. The branch route has the smallest kilometers in number. It's about 343 kilometers here. I know, Najah, you like to ask question here. Why is it, the number that is very small compared to the two routes that I've mentioned, Najah?
One though, I'm not too concerned about the number per se. I'm just wondering what impact it will have on ease of transportation when it comes to farm produce. A lot of these roads are the access roads for farmers to bring their produce out. And now that it's the rainy season, a lot of vehicles, heavy-duty vehicles, get stuck this time of the year. So how is this going to make an impact?
For Naja, let me tell you that right now, this particular route is a route that links to localities. And then remember that some few days or up to like close to a week now, the local government areas have been liberated. Now they have their fund directly. They can build roads, critical roads that will link to these particular routes. And there, a lot of produce that come from those places will be brought to the market. And of course, you are talking about trucks being stuck in places and so on and so forth. That is the reason why the minister in charge of works in Nigeria came up and then started, terminating contractors that have not been performing. And so far, so good. Those roads, contractors are back to site and they are working, and these roads will be delivered very soon. Naja?
All right, thank you, Abdullahi, for that clarification and for the update. I've been speaking with Abdullahi Mohammed, giving us a rundown of statistics on road works across the country. And closely related to this transportation is agriculture, which is getting a boost with the construction of Yauri Road in Shanga local government area, Kebbi State. The governor, flagged off by the governor Nasir Idris, who says the project is also aimed at enhancing agricultural activities in rural communities across the state, improving infrastructure and promoting economic development in the region. Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
Hondeji town in Changa local government area of Kebbi State is an agrarian community blessed to be among the food basket of the state. But over the years, transportation of produce after harvest has been troublesome because of the bad road network between the farming communities in some axes, while there is no road at all in other parts. Governor Nasir Idris has therefore come to the rescue with the construction of a 6 kilometers road from Yauri Highway to Hondeji town. Flagging off the construction of the road, Governor Idris says the road project is expected to boost agricultural activities, particularly rice production in Yauri axis of the state.
We have already awarded a contract of 5 kilometers within Yauri township roads, which we look at it as a fulfillment of our campaign promises.
The road construction, when completed, will not only open windows to enhance the transportation system, but also encourage more farmers and even attract investors.
The areas that this road is leading to is one of the major rice producing areas in Kebbi State.
Make sure we're giving a very quality job.
The road is to be completed within 4 months. From Yauri in Kebbi State, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
Next is monitoring and evaluation. Nigeria joins other countries to conduct the 7th round of the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey and National Immunization Coverage Survey, aimed at providing data on the situation of women and children in the country. Muplang Dakok tells us how this will happen.
The United Nations rates Nigeria's Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, which was last conducted in 2021, as the most downloaded and most used survey for monitoring the Sustainable Development Goals. In order to improve this data, the new committees will work on providing data on child mortality, health, nutrition, education and social protection, and assess vaccination coverage provided through the health systems.
This is a powerful tool that has been done for several years now in Nigeria, so it's really a very strong story to tell on how we have progressed and what still needs to be done.
So it's not always an easy task to conduct a national survey such as Mix 7. However, it is one that comes with immense value for national development planning. And that is what has always been encouraging us to face all the consequences and ensure that we reach out to all the nooks and crannies of the country to get data from our respondents.
The committees are to be chaired by the Statistician General of the Federation. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
And closely related to health matters, improving performance and ensuring accountability in healthcare was x-rayed at the quarterly performance dialogue of commissioners and other key players in the health sector on implementing Nigeria's Health Renewal Initiative. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, said the meeting is in line with the aspirations of President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope Initiative. Olushaye Adiabu reports.
Health is back on the front burner.
It is more than 7 months President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unveiled the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative, a commitment that made state governors and the health cities signed a compact with the federal government towards improving population health outcomes for all Nigerians. Months are counting, and at this meeting is asking questions on the use of resources directed towards priority areas and mentioning challenges in implementing the initiative.
Agreed that we will have accountability measures to track our results on a quarterly basis and to have joint annual reviews. And the first joint annual review will take place in October, November, before the Council on Health, to see how the population health outcomes are improving in Nigeria.
The Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative is an agreement that targets to achieve key health indicators to include improving paediatric coverage, increasing the proportion of fully immunized children, and primary health care services, as well as other health packages. In Abuja, Olushaye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Strict monitoring of construction of buildings must be intensified by monitoring institutions to reduce the loss of lives and property caused by perennial building collapse across Nigeria, says the Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, who stated this during an on-the-spot assessment of Saint Academy School in Plateau State. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
The latest collapse in Jos, Plateau State, claimed 22 lives and 132 others sustained different degrees of injury. The DG NEMA, who sympathized with the government and people of Plateau State, commended communities in the affected area for rescue efforts.
So what we have done today is to take a rapid assessment. Once we get back, we're going to have the report, and then we'll know how NEMA can come in terms of intervention, be it medicals, be it food, for example. NEMA is there to assist in any way.
The state governor, Caleb Mofwan, thanked the DG NEMA for the sympathy visit and promised to ensure adherence to building rules and regulations among the people.
We will need to put in place and upgrade our building codes. People cannot just build anywhere, especially within the city center.
Experts say many quacks have been empowered by the fact that regulatory bodies and relevant apparatus of government are unwilling or unable to prosecute and convict persons found culpable of professional ineptitude regarding incidences of building collapse in Nigeria. Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
Still on the tragedy at Saint Academy Secondary School, the senior special assistant to the president on student engagement, Sunday Asefong, is concerned about poor infrastructure in schools and colleges and is calling for speedy improvement. Ijoma Ozomena reports.
The senior special assistant to President Bola Tinubu is in Jos to condole with the government and people of the state over the recent building collapse, which led to the death of 22 students. While in the school, the senior special assistant calls on government to put in place stringent measures and policies against mining activities around residential areas.
I don't think, this kind of structure should be erected here. And again, the foundation of this class was just one-story building, and imagine turning into two over the night is one of the causes. This, to me, I want to call on the government to really enforce law. You know, buildings like this shouldn't be approved.
Sunday Ashefon also visited victims of the incident at the Plateau State Specialist Hospital, Bingham University Teaching Hospital, as well as Our Lady of Apostle Hospital, Jos. During his visit to the State Commissioner for Education, Secondary, it was agreed that, going forward, any school that does not meet the required standard in infrastructure will be demolished. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Efficient service delivery amongst ministries, departments and agencies of government is one sure way of earning public trust, notably in the area of implementing government policies and programs, part of key details from an open government partnership charter on performance monitoring and reporting workshop for pilot MDAs. Kenneth Nanim reports.
You're behind.
Savicom presidency has the responsibility of implementing Commitment 11 and 13 of the National Action Plan 3 under thematic Area 7, which focuses on improving service delivery. Savicom is looking into the books to ensure quality service is being delivered to Nigerians. In line with the demands of open government partnership, Savicom is also taking stock of progress made so far in realizing the National Action Plan 3.
The end of program review for NAP2 scored us well. As the NAP3 comes to an end by December, we're working ahead of time to be sure that we score well.
My call is for government to strengthen the policy and regulatory framework of Savicom. We have a bill at the National Assembly. There is no reason why we should not sign it. They are already even going ahead to implement what this bill has outlined. So I think that what we need now is to support them.
Savicom is optimistic that with a logo framework that streamlines its activities and adequate collaborations, more impact will be felt by citizens on service delivery across board. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
We're talking artificial intelligence next, and the Nigerian Army Resource Center is leveraging the benefits of AI to boost national security. To achieve this, the center is enhancing the capacity of military personnel and those from other fields on the relevance of AI in modern security operations. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Artificial intelligence plays a crucial role in modern military operations through application of autonomous weapons targeting, surveillance, cybersecurity, and autonomous vehicles. To enhance the utilization of AI, the Nigerian Army Resource Center is considering ethical issues by setting boundaries for the use of AI for security purposes.
We can't run away from utilizing artificial intelligence. We are already using it. The military use drones on armed vehicles. That's artificial intelligence. And so the utilization is how do we utilize the platform, the equipment that are available without creating problem, without causing huge disaster. And that's one of the reasons why we brought them from King's College to look at, mix the two, look at leadership, artificial intelligence, and national security.
Leadership in an evolving world order, one of the programs of the center, provides a platform for discussing the merit and demerits of AI.
Leadership is something that is all-encompassing and is something very, very important. And artificial intelligence is something that has dominated the world now and will definitely keep dominating the world for centuries to come. So it will be important for us to strike the balance between what is between leadership and artificial intelligence, and that's one of the things we are trying to explore here.
The Nigerian Armed Forces are adopting AI as a veritable force multiplier in the quest to further secure the nation. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Kano State High Court has granted the prayers of the State Attorney General and other parties seeking to restrain Emir Aminu Ado Bayero and 4 others from presenting themselves as emirs in the case before Justice Amina Adamu Aliu of the Kano State High Court between the State Attorney General, Kano State House of Assembly and its Speaker against the 5 deposed emirs and others. In its judgment, the court affirmed that Kano State House of Assembly has the power to amend or make laws and the governor has the power to assent to the law. The court also granted that the emirs are deposed and therefore are ordered not to present themselves as emirs, that they should also surrender all movable and immovable property belonging to the emirate councils to Kano State government. The court also orders all security agencies in the state to respect and abide by the Kano Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024 and ensure its compliance. Up next, we'll take some messages. Do stay tuned. When we return, business news. Up next is Musa.
Now let's talk business. The Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission says it is partnering with the African Development Bank, AFDB, to develop green finance in Nigeria's capital market. To this end, a capacity building workshop on green finance for capital market operators is underway. SEC explained that the event, facilitated by Climate Transition, is part of a strategic initiative funded by the Capital Market Development Trust, administered by the AFDB, adding that the initiative is crucial to consolidating the gains made by the Nigerian capital market, which has experienced substantial growth over the past decade. Now, latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's inflation figure has reached a new high, hitting 34.19% for June 2024. On a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 11.40 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in June 2023, which was 22.79%. At the capital market, the equities market closed first weekday of trade in positive territory as investors gained 167.10 billion naira. The all-share index climbed 0.30% to end the session at 99,966.28 basis points. At the end of the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 362 million shares in 8,405 deals, corresponding to a market value of 7.3 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 40% decline in volume, 8% improvement in turnover, and 10% improvement in deal. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is over 56 trillion naira. Now that's a quick look at business news. The news continues after the break.
Today, July 16, 2024, coincides with the 10th of Muharram in the Islamic calendar, also known as the Day of Ashura, a virtuous day which holds great significance in Islam. A miracle happened on that day, one which Tokbe Alabi will tell us about.
Day of Ashura is the 10th day of Muharram, which is the first month in the Islamic calendar and translates to the 10th. Clerics say it marks the day Nuh or Noah left the ark and the day Musa or Moses was saved from Pharaoh of Egypt by Allah. Muslims commemorate the day through voluntary fasting as well as increasing other forms of worship to gain the maximum favor of Allah.
10th of Muharram is a very important day in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ used to fast on that day.
Before I even know what the fasting is all about, I just grew up seeing my parents doing it, and gradually I started picking up too.
That celebration on behalf of the Jews calls for unity in Medina, because he came to a strange town. There are Jews, there are Christians, there are non-Muslims, and he wanted to unite the Ummah together. That is the secret behind copying the Jews in that fasting. So one thing I would call on my brethren is that we should unite for the development of this country.
While some days are celebrated with jubilation and joy, there are holy days in Islam that require respect. Chief among such days is the day of Ashura. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Just a reminder that following successful talks and extensive mutually beneficial negotiations between the government of the United Arab Emirates and the government and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, an agreement has been reached allowing for the resumption of travel to the United Arab Emirates for Nigerian passport holders. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who broke the news through his X handle, says this agreement includes updated controls and conditions to facilitate obtaining a UAE visa. The resumption of visas will be effective from July 15, 2024, that's today. Nigerians wishing to learn more about the updated visa conditions from the UAE can visit documentverificationhub.ae for any additional information. That's documentverificationhub.ae. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump picks Senator J.D. Vance as running mate as supporters gather in Milwaukee for the party's convention after an attempted assassination on the former president. Comfort Fashion reports.
Former President Donald Trump had insisted he would stick to his schedule for the convention despite Saturday's shooting at a rally in Pennsylvania, which left one bystander dead, 2 wounded, and Trump himself nicked in the ear by what he said was a whizzing bullet. Meanwhile, a judge in Florida, Island Cannon, has dismissed the case against the former president's handling of classified documents. Nepal's Khadga Prasad Sharma Oli was sworn in as Prime Minister on Monday after his Communist Party forged a coalition government with the centre-left Nepali Congress, thereby shifting power in the country's parliament. Nepal's next general elections are due in 2027. Sorting and counting of ballots in Rwanda's elections have begun. Polls close at 3 p.m. local time with partial results expected to be released as tallying progress. With the African nation's leader, Paul Kagame, set to cruise to victory and extend his rule for another 5 years. Comforts, Fashion, NTA News.
Next is Sports Update.
The Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has engaged 30 female coaches in CAF C licensed coaching course, which will last for 2 months. The training is expected to broaden their skills and expand new opportunities for female coaches in Nigeria. It's the first of its kind as female football continue to gain momentum and support.
To see that we bring the desired change that we are looking for in Nigerian football. There's no way we can succeed without having qualified coaches. Whatever we're doing, if we don't have qualified coaches to take on our young girls and boys, we're deceiving ourselves.
I expect it to be holistic in order to make sure that we coaches are empowered to go back to the grassroots or wherever we are to do justice to developing more football players, especially women, for Nigeria.
The quarter-final matches of the ongoing Bayelsa Governors Football Tournament, also known as the Prosperity Cup, commenced over the weekend at the Samson Siasia Sports Complex in Yenagoa. In the first game of the male category, Bayelsa United Feeders defeated Adulema FC 3-0 after being eliminated in the round of 16 last season. The remaining quarter-final games on Friday were played in the female category. Perez Soccer Academy trashed Pretty Queens 8-0. Niger Delta University Queens defeated Stardom Life 3-2, and Afini Ladies won against Igbogene Ladies 3-1 on penalties after a 1-0 draw. While the male category continued with Congo United knocking out Solid Stars 3-0, while Ogboibri FC came from behind to beat Wadop FC 3-1. The last quarter-final game in the female category is scheduled to take place this weekend at the same venue. Meanwhile, the Spain men's national team landed at the Adolfo Suarez Madrid Baharas Airport on Monday after winning the Euro 2024 final against England with a score of 2-1. It marks the 4th time that Spain has won the tournament. And finally in tennis, Novak Djokovic has pledged to make a comeback after being defeated by Carlos Alcaraz in the men's singles final at Wimbledon. Despite undergoing knee surgery less than 2 months ago, Djokovic remains determined to compete for a gold medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics and clinch his 25th Grand Slam title at the Open, extending his current record. With Sports Update, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
Sports Update concludes the network news on NTA. But before we go, here's a recap of top stories. And urges states to ensure fair distribution of latest set of palliatives to the people. Steering committees to conduct 7th round of multiple indicator cluster survey and national immunization coverage survey come on stream. Nigerian Army advocates merits of artificial intelligence in modern security operations. With that, we've come to the end of the network news on NTA. Thanks for being a part of the bulletin.